At the altar, the priest asked her, "Do you take Jake to be your husband?" And Madison smiled. That same smug, cruel smile I'd seen her practice in the mirror when she thought I wasn't watching, and said into the mic, "No, I just want to take his business, everything he owns, and leave him for my lover." The silence that followed felt like the world had stopped breathing. Then came the applause. Her side of the church clapped, laughed, whistled. Her father gave her a thumbs up. Her mother wiped away a tear of joy. Her sister blew her a kiss. My own brother, Kyle, sitting in the second row on my side, looked at me like he just witnessed my execution. He didn't move. No one did. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I just stared at Madison, my fiancée, the woman I'd spent 6 years building a life with, as she turned her back to me and strutted away from the altar, grabbing the hand of a man I had never seen before. A tall, tatted-up prick in sunglasses and a Gucci suit. I stood still, like a statue chiseled out of heartbreak, until I heard my mother's whisper from behind. "Jake, honey, walk away." So I did. I turned. My shoes echoed against the marble floor. I passed pews filled with people pretending to look sad, hiding their grins behind fake gasps. I walked out of the church and into the sunlight. My car was parked half a block away. I don't even remember unlocking it. I just remember getting in, slamming the door, and gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My phone buzzed. Once. Then again. Again. Within an hour, I had 133 messages. "Jake, I didn't mean it like that. Please call me. Jake, please don't do anything stupid. You don't understand what's going on. I didn't want to hurt you. You were just in the way. Jake, please don't take revenge. Please." He's scared now. He said you won't stop. "Jake, I'm sorry. But it was already too late to stop. I had made my decision before she even said no. And no, I didn't go back. I left everything behind that day. Except my rage. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I opened my laptop and started digging. Bank records, company files, shared email threads, her deleted iCloud backups. I built my tech empire from scratch. Madison never understood I had access to everything. And when I found what I was looking for, my chest didn't tighten. It loosened. The mask came off. The truth was filthier than I imagined. She wasn't cheating on me with just one guy. His name was Trenton. He was a former client. A real estate mogul from Miami. But he was just the most recent. She had a list, hidden in a deleted notes folder, with rankings. She rated them, scored them, commented on their performance. And next to my name, Jake, 2 out of 10. Too busy, too loyal, too nice, too rich to leave empty-handed. I sat in the dark, staring at that note. That was the moment the pain turned to something colder. Not rage, not hate, precision. This wasn't just betrayal. It was strategy. She had been planning this. The wedding was a con, a public execution of my reputation. If I lashed out, she'd play the victim. If I stayed silent, she'd win. So I started to write my own plan. I called in favors, talked to lawyers, private investigators, old friends in the cybersecurity world. I had a list of people who were about to regret clapping that day. By 3 a.m., I had one last thing to do. I opened a file marked prenup_medicine_signed_final.pdf. I smiled. She thought I'd removed the asset protection clause. She was wrong. The next morning, I sent her one message. No words, just a photo, a screenshot of her ranking list, and a thumbs-up emoji. Then I powered down my phone, ordered a private jet, and disappeared. But the real story, the revenge, the reveal, the reckoning, was only just beginning. And Madison? She had no idea what she'd unleashed. 2 days after the wedding, that wasn't. Madison was already on social media pretending to be the victim. She posted a picture of herself in a white dress, not the wedding one, just a casual designer thing, captioned, "Some people never show you who they are until the altar. But I'm still standing. Broken heart #self-love #rebirth. The comments poured in. "You're so strong, babe. He didn't deserve you. Men are so fragile. Stay glowing." Even her cousin Tessa chimed in. "You were too much woman for him anyway." What they didn't know was that I had every DM, every deleted message, every time-stamped photo and video she thought she buried. I had the audio from her late-night calls with Trenton, whispering filth and fake plans while lying in our bed. I even had a voice memo where she laughed about how I would probably cry like a little boy when she left. But I wasn't crying. I was building. Let me tell you how I found out about the affair the first time. It was 6 months before the wedding. She started wearing lipstick again. Not the soft nude she always liked, but bold reds. Crimson. Like blood. She hated lipstick, said it made her feel like a clown. Then one night, I came home late from a business trip and found an open wine bottle, 2 glasses, and the scent of cologne that didn't belong to me. I didn't say anything that night. I just stood in the doorway and watched her fake sleep on the couch, her phone clenched in her hand like a child hiding candy. The next morning, I kissed her on the forehead and said, "You smell different." She laughed. New shampoo. Lie number 1. I checked the cameras later. She had disabled them the day before. Claimed the Wi-Fi was acting weird. Lie number 2. I started noticing the little things. The changed passwords. The cash disappearing from our safe. The call she took in the bathroom with the water running. And then, the final straw. I was in the kitchen one night, and I dropped my keys behind the fridge. When I pulled it out, I found a bracelet. Not hers. Men's. Gold. Expensive. Engraved with the initials, TM. Trenton Miles. I didn't confront her. Not then. I smiled. I made her coffee. I kept playing the role she thought I was too soft to abandon. But now? Now the curtain was down, and the stage was mine. She thought she had control. She didn't know I'd traced every transaction from her secret bank account. Didn't know I had copies of her fake invoices for interior design consulting. Didn't know I had installed software on her MacBook that mirrored her screen to mine whenever she logged in. She gave herself away with every move. Every smug laugh. Every arrogant post. Every public display of dominance. She wanted to humiliate me in front of the world. And now the world would watch her fall. I wasn't going to touch her physically. That's not my style. But I was going to hit her where she couldn't heal. Her image. Her finances. Her sense of control. The first domino fell the next morning. Trenton received an anonymous package. Photos of Madison with 2 other men. One of them a known fraudster currently under federal investigation. She'd called him her rock. Now he knew she had foundations made of sand. That afternoon, I leaked a single screenshot to a business tabloid. A message where Madison confessed to sleeping with a board member in exchange for influencer deals. I knew Madison. She wouldn't explode. She'd implode. And the implosion had already begun. I expected her to react fast. Madison always needed to control the narrative. She was born in chaos, but addicted to the illusion of being above it. The day after the tabloid story dropped, her little secret about bribing a board member with some sweaty hotel rendezvous, she posted a photo of herself in a yoga pose, face tilted toward the sun like some wannabe goddess. Caption: "If you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. I'm healing. Stay in your lane." She was spiraling, but stylishly. What she didn't know was that Trenton had already ghosted her. I got a call that morning from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, then listened. "Hey Jake. This is Trenton. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, man, but listen. I didn't know about the others. I didn't know about the board guy, or the crypto dude, or that whatever. I'm out. But if you ever want to talk, man to man, just yeah. I'm sorry." Click. It was satisfying, but not enough. The next phase was financial. I filed a motion to freeze the joint business account, the one she thought I'd forgotten about. She had used it to pay for their little island getaway, a pre-wedding stress relief vacation. Funny how she forgot to invite her fiancé. The notification of the freeze would hit her email in 3, 2, 1. Ding. I sipped my coffee. 3 hours later, she called. Blocked number. I picked up. Her voice? Breathless. Furious. Fragile. "Jake. What the F is this? You froze the account." "I did." "You can't." "I can." "I did." "Keep going." She paused, then tried to soften her tone. "Babe, can we just talk about this like adults? Please?" I didn't want it to end this way. I almost laughed. "You humiliated me at an altar. You told the world I was just a bank account with legs. I was angry. You were evil." Silence. Then, "Okay, fine. You want war? Let's go." She hung up. Perfect. What she didn't understand was that war wasn't what I wanted. Not the loud, messy kind she was used to. I wanted silence. Cold. Precise. Ruin from the shadows. I hired a crisis PR team. Not for me, for her. Then anonymously leaked false rumors about her investing in a fake charity. Why? Because I knew she'd deny it publicly. And when she did, the real financial statements would leak, proving she actually had donated, using embezzled company money. She'd trap herself in her own lie. And she did. 2 days later, she posted a story. "I never gave a dime to that scam. Y'all are just trying to drag a strong woman down." 6 hours later, the receipts hit Reddit. She gave $30,000. The charity didn't exist. Comment section: unforgiving. She's a liar. Another influencer playing charity queen. Cancel her. I watched her social capital drain like a bleeding wound. That evening, Kyle, my brother, came over. We sat on the patio, cold beers in hand. You know, he said, you could have married any girl. Why her? I stared into the dark. She made me feel seen. Kyle laughed bitterly. Yeah, so does a sniper. We both chuckled, but it stung. Love, in hindsight, is just a trick of the light. Madison was no queen. She was a mirror. She reflected what I needed: approval, admiration, warmth, until she broke. And now? Now I was done being the man behind her throne. I was going to burn the whole castle down. There's a particular kind of silence that follows betrayal. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that hums in your ears, poisons your thoughts, and plays back every "I love you" like it was part of a con. And in Madison's case, it was. She underestimated how deep I'd dig. She always thought I was soft, that I wouldn't fight fire with fire. She forgot I was the one who built the damn flame. A week after the charity scandal blew up, I received a package from a private investigator I'd hired long before the wedding. Back when my gut started whispering that something was off. I hadn't expected much, maybe some grainy photos, receipts from shady hotels. But this was gold. There were recordings, tapes of her bragging to friends during brunches and spa dates. High-end restaurants, too noisy for normal ears, but not too noisy for a mic. And I'll never forget the one that shattered me the most. Recording starts. Madison's voice, laughing, tipsy. No, seriously. Jake? He's like a Labrador. Loyal, clueless, and rich. I just let him work and nod my head. I've already set it up. Prenup doesn't protect him anymore. My lawyer handled it. Another voice. You're insane. Nah, I'm brilliant. By the time he realizes, I'll be gone. With the company, the house, and, well, Trenton's more fun anyway. I played that recording on repeat. Not because I needed to hear it, but because I needed to burn the last piece of love that clung to my ribs. She wasn't just cheating. She had turned our whole relationship into a heist. I sent a snippet of that tape to a close friend of hers, Vanessa, the only one I halfway trusted. No message, just the audio. 6 hours later, Vanessa texted me. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. She's sick. If you need anything, I'll testify. Another domino down. The next night, I walked past our favorite coffee shop. Well, her favorite. She was inside, alone, phone in hand, looking shaken. She didn't see me. She was scrolling through hate comments, clearly rattled. For the first time since all this began, she didn't look like Madison the performer. She looked small, shattered, and still, I felt nothing. Well, almost nothing. At midnight, she texted me again. I know you hate me, but please, let's talk. Just once. In person. I stared at the message. For a moment, a tiny flicker of the man I used to be whispered, what if she's finally ready to own it? So I said, tomorrow, noon, my office. She showed up the next day, perfectly styled, but the panic showed in her eyes. She walked in like she still had power. Jake, she began, I know things got messy, but maybe there's a way to fix this without destroying each other. I stood behind my desk. Calm. You really believe that? She nodded, stepping closer. I made mistakes. I let myself get caught up in things. I should have ended things cleanly, but I didn't. And I regret that. A pause. She placed her hand gently on my desk. I miss you, Jake. The way you looked at me. No one ever made me feel that safe. Safe. That word felt like a punch. I leaned forward. Do you miss Trenton? She flinched. And then, I pressed play. The recording spilled from the hidden speaker. Jake? He's like a Labrador. Her face dropped. The mask cracked. You son of a... I turned off the speaker. You really thought you'd come the wrong guy and walk away clean? Her eyes burned with hatred, but under it was fear. And that was just the beginning of what she was about to feel. Madison stormed out of my office like it was all beneath her. No apology. No shame. Just a glare that screamed, you weren't supposed to fight back. She thought she'd hurt me at the altar. She thought that was the end. It was the beginning. Of my silence. Of her fall. 3 days later, her lawyer contacted mine. Apparently, Madison was now ready to settle amicably. Translation. Her brand deals were drying up, Trenton had vanished, and her little girl boss image was cracking under pressure. I told my lawyer, Frank, to reply with 2 words. No settlement. She wanted the house. Let her try and take it. She wanted my business? Let her explain to a judge why she used company funds for private jets and candlelit dinners with a revolving door of men. I wasn't fighting for revenge anymore. I was fighting for truth. The next leak wasn't from me. It was from someone inside her circle. A recording surfaced on a gossip podcast, one of her own friends talking. Name disguised, voice altered, but the story was crystal clear. She said the wedding was for show, that she was going to humiliate him in front of everyone, and the media would eat it up. She rehearsed the speech. She made us clap. They played the clip 3 times. By the end, Madison's face was all over Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Hashtags trended for 2 days. Hashtag Madison the manipulator. Hashtag wedding scam. Hashtag loyalty means nothing to her. Her comment sections were locked down. Her influencer agency dropped her. And still she didn't stop. That night, she showed up at my house. She pounded the door like a cop on a raid. When I opened it, she looked soaked. Rain pouring, hair a mess, mascara dripping down her cheeks. She didn't look like the Madison I knew. She looked like a villain watching her empire collapse. "You need to make it stop," she yelled, shivering. I didn't invite her in. "Make what stop? This campaign you're running against me. You're killing my reputation." I folded my arms. "You ruined your own reputation. I just gave people the truth. I've lost everything, Jake. My deals, my agent, my ING friends." I nodded. "So did I? At that altar. Remember?" She stepped forward, voice shaking. "I messed up, okay? I thought I wanted freedom. I thought I could have both, the business and the man I used to love." "Used to?" She looked down, then looked up with the same fake vulnerability I'd seen her use on clients and cameras. I didn't plan to fall for Trenton, but he made me feel seen, alive. I stared at her. "Did you ever love me?" Long pause. Her silence was louder than any no. "I should go," she whispered. But I stopped her. "Wait." I stepped inside and returned with a small velvet box. Her engagement ring. I handed it to her. She stared at it. "What is this?" "Proof that not everything you touch gets to be yours." Then I shut the door in her face. She stood there for 10 more seconds, then walked off into the storm. Inside, I felt lighter. Not happy, not healed, but free. That house had been our dream. Now it was my fortress. And Madison? She wasn't a queen anymore. She was a ghost walking barefoot through the broken glass of her own lies that a week passed. Madison disappeared from the spotlight. No posts, no photos, no cryptic quotes about healing and self-love. Just silence. But silence is rarely peace. It's pressure building behind walls. And eventually, something had to break. This time, it wasn't her. It was Trenton. I got a call from my old contact in Miami, Eric, a guy who used to handle cybersecurity for a few questionable clubs down there. He'd been watching Trenton long before I ever knew Madison was cheating with him. "Jake," Eric said, "your boy Trenton just got arrested." "For what?" I asked. "Wire fraud, tax evasion, transporting restricted substances across state lines." "Oh, and guess who bailed him out last time?" "Madison?" Ding ding. You always liked ambitious girls. The next morning, Trenton's mugshot was everywhere. That polished, cocky smirk was gone, replaced by a stunned, swollen face and hollow eyes. Madison tried to stay quiet, but people started asking questions, especially when the FBI subpoenaed her phone records. And those private retreats she took with him turned out to be cover trips for cash smuggling and crypto laundering. My lawyer sent me a text. "Your ex is now under federal investigation. Sit back. Let them cook." Madison cracked first, of course. She posted a Notes app statement on her Instagram story. "I had no knowledge of Trenton's criminal activities. I was manipulated, lied to, and used. I am cooperating fully with authorities." I laughed when I read it. She wasn't lying to the feds. She was lying to her followers. Again, she didn't know. How? Because she bragged about helping him launder money in a voice memo she sent to a friend, which I now had. It was only a matter of time before that surfaced, too. By now, my revenge didn't even feel like revenge. It felt like a long overdue correction, a balancing of scales. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. But something inside me still wanted one final exclamation point. I called Vanessa, the one friend of Madison's who'd flipped. "Hey," I said, "do you still have that group chat archive?" "You mean the one where Madison planned the fake charity and ranked her hookups like they were sports stats?" "Yeah, I do. Want it?" "Yes." She sent me everything. Screenshots, audio clips, photos. Enough to rewrite the final chapter. I compiled everything into one file, titled it The Real Madison Unfiltered.zip, and sent it anonymously to the gossip podcast that started it all. Within 48 hours, they released a 2-hour special. They didn't hold back. Her lies, her manipulation, her mockery of fans, clients, and me. It was all there. She went viral. but not the way she used to. 3 days after the episode aired, I received a letter. Not a text, not a call, a handwritten letter, in smudged ink. From Madison. Jake, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve that. I lost myself trying to become someone. I thought if I controlled everything, men, money, love, I'd feel safe, powerful. But all I feel now is small. You were right. You always were. I don't ask for redemption. Just, maybe someday, don't hate me anymore. Madison. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. Didn't rip it. Didn't frame it. Just kept it. Because part of me needed to remember. The rise. The betrayal. The fall. And now? Now it was time to rebuild. But not alone. After the storm, there's a moment when the silence changes. It's not the silence of shock or rage, it's clarity. A strange, unfamiliar peace that feels almost alien after so much chaos. I'd spent months watching her world collapse. I didn't lift a hand to destroy it. I just made sure the truth saw daylight. Now it was quiet, and I was still standing. With Madison practically erased from the influencer scene and Trenton awaiting trial, I turned my focus inward. My company, my sanity, my peace. But peace is funny. After months of war, you forget how to live without armor. I found myself checking over my shoulder for traps that weren't there, jumping every time the doorbell rang, expecting subpoenas or confrontations. Trust? That felt like a dead language. But life doesn't wait for healing. It demands it. One day, I got a call from my assistant, Rachel. There's a woman here, she said, says she's your therapist. You booked her. Did you forget? I had, but I let her in anyway. Her name was Dr. Nina Walker. Calm, composed, and nothing like the people I'd been surrounded by the last few years. She sat across from me in my office, legs crossed, eyes clear. Why'd you call me? She asked. I didn't, I said. Your credit card says otherwise. Fair enough. She waited, and I finally said, I don't know how to move on from someone who made me doubt everything real. She nodded. That's a start. I saw her twice a week. We didn't talk about Madison at first. We talked about me, my blind spots, my guilt for missing the signs, my obsession with protecting an image of love, even after love had died. Forgiveness isn't for her, Nina said once. It's the key out of your own cage. But I wasn't ready. Not yet. One morning, I went back to the church. The same one where everything unraveled. It was empty, quiet. The sun lit the stained glass like it was trying to apologize for that day. I stood where I had once watched my future dissolve, and I whispered to no one in particular. You didn't break me. Then I walked out. Lighter. A few weeks later, I got a text from Vanessa. She's moving. Arizona. Her mom's place. Off-grid for a while. Thought you'd want to know. I didn't respond. Not out of malice. But because I didn't feel anything anymore. She wasn't a wound. She was a scar. Closed. I went to lunch with Kyle soon after. He raised his glass. To survival, he said. To clarity, I replied. We clinked glasses. And he grinned. You know, one day, you're gonna meet someone who's not a walking explosion. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I'll just adopt a dog and call it a day. Please don't name it Madison. We laughed. It felt good to laugh again. Not bitterly. Not sarcastically. Just real. I wasn't looking for revenge anymore. I wasn't looking for closure. I had found something better. Perspective. Madison was never the ending. She was the warning. The hard lesson dressed in lipstick and betrayal. And I was done playing the victim. Some stories don't end with justice. They end with clarity. And sometimes, that's enough. Madison never apologized to the public. Never admitted the full truth. But she vanished. No posts. No deals. Just gone. Like a bad investment finally swallowed by its own debt. And Trenton? Last I heard, he took a plea deal. Won't see the outside of a cell for the next 12 years. Fitting. I kept working. Quietly. Purposefully. Rebuilt what she tried to steal. Not the money. That was never the point. The reputation. The peace. The respect. It took time. But the calls started again. Clients. Partners. Investors who once watched the scandal unfold. Now seeing the man who stood through it with spine and silence. They didn't pity me. They trusted me. And that meant more. But let me be honest, I wasn't unscathed. No one walks through a fire without scars. Relationships were harder. Trust didn't come easy. I'd meet someone, and my brain would whisper, what's her angle? Even when there wasn't one. But I worked on it. Because if Madison taught me anything, it was this. You either grow from betrayal, or you rot inside it. One night, maybe 6 months after it all blew up, I got an email. No subject line. No text. Just a photo. It was the church. The altar. That exact moment frozen in time. Madison in her dress. Me in my suit. The priest mid-sentence. Her lips just starting to move. A stranger had taken it and sent it anonymously. I stared at it for a long time, then hit delete. That moment didn't belong to me anymore. Let the internet keep it. I moved to a new place. Smaller, simpler, less tech mogul, more man who values peace. Decorated it myself. Clean lines, soft colors, no photos of the past, only space for the future. I even got the dog. Not named Madison. His name's Knox. He doesn't judge, doesn't lie, just wags his tail when I walk in the door. Unconditional loyalty. Imagine that. So what did I learn? A few things, actually. And if you're reading this because you're in your own version of hell, because someone lied to you, broke you, betrayed you, let me say this. 1. Betrayal isn't your fault. Their lies were never a reflection of your worth. Only theirs. 2. Revenge feels good, briefly, but peace lasts longer. And the best revenge? Becoming someone they can never touch again. 3. Don't let pain rewrite who you are. Let it refine you, sharpen you, but don't become what hurt you. 4. Always trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. You're not crazy. You're aware. 5. Love isn't blind. It just chooses what to look at. Make sure it's the truth. Would I go back and change things? Honestly, no. Madison taught me how to see through masks, how to separate real from performance, how to love without losing myself. She was a nightmare dressed as a dream, and I survived her. That's enough. So now, I live slower. I wake up with purpose, not panic. I answer calls when I want to. I give second chances, but never to people who buried me the first time. And I remember, at the altar, she said, no. And I said, watch me. She took her shot. I took my life back. And in the end, I didn't just survive the fall. I built wings from the wreckage.